Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's good. Um, yeah, actually, I remember when the COVID pandemic started. I think it was 2020, and I had this series, where for a week I'll give like a devotional for 10 minutes, and in that devotional we will talk whatever theme that so I did it. There's a theme. It's already there on the IGTV. Yes, it's there. And so I thought, I'm not sure whether I did one last year, but I think I did. And so this year I thought, oh, let me do it again because I'm trying to get into this habit. Because they said if you're not into a routine, then you're not gonna make it. But I'm not on that motivational tip or stuff like that. Anyway, so I thought, let me do something. It's just, yeah, I know the lives I do. I'm just sometimes I'm commenting mostly on running and whatever. So I thought, let me, for the next 6 days, hopefully, I'm able to do this every day, um, and just give it to you. Some of this series. So I thought the series that I'm gonna give it to you. It's entitled "We're Gonna Need More Wine." Yeah, we're gonna need more wine. Now, that title, before you guys report me and get me sued, it is not original by me. It is a title that I think Gabrielle Union, she wrote a book. I think there are two books where she says we're gonna need more wine. So I thought this topic is gonna be good. This series that I'm gonna be doing for the rest of the week, we're gonna need more wine, and we're just gonna focus on just one chapter in the Bible. One chapter. We're gonna break it apart, find some application, have a devotional in it. Hopefully, for the next 10 minutes of your time, I'll be able to do that. So for the next 6, 7 days, hopefully. Today is Friday, so hopefully by the next Friday, it'll be the last day that I do this. The title of this series, we're gonna need more wine. So I'm excited about it. Let's see where it takes us. Anyway, the text that we're going to be thinking about and pondering on is found in the book of John, the Gospel according to John, John chapter 2. It has 12 verses, that story, the wedding at Cana, where Jesus turns water into wine. It is only has 12 verses, that story. Just for the sake of benefit, for the benefit of the sake, whatever, I'm gonna try and read it all, the verses, and then after that we'll pick one part and then talk about it, and then as the day goes by, we're still gonna focus on these 12 verses in John chapter 2. It reads as follows: On the third day there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus was also invited to the wedding with his disciples. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Verse 6. Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast." So they took it out. Now when the master of the feast tasted it, the water now became wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. The master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everybody serves good wine first, and when people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine up till now." This is the first of his signs Jesus had did at Cana in Galilee, and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After that, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and his brothers and his disciples, and they stayed there for a few days. Now, this is an interesting, very interesting story. In fact, as John puts it, this was the first miracle or first sign that Jesus did. He went to a wedding. He went to a party. Now, there's something that all often tends to sort of bothers me with Christians in general. Because for some reason, we've always had this belief that when you are a Christian, you are not supposed to have fun. That when you're a Christian, you are only supposed to go to church. When you're a Christian, you are supposed to be this rock hard person who does not laugh, does not have fun. The fun that perhaps you have is when you have it at church, and throughout the week, the rest of the week, the other 6 days, you're just supposed to be this serious person. In fact, that is the connotation about Christianity, and it bothers me because we are not at church 24/7. We are only at church for a few hours, and the rest of the week we spend with people. And as we spend with people, you discover that people, we get to socialize. We are part of a society. People have parties, people have weddings, people have events, and to a certain extent, they will invite us. We have friends, you have colleagues. They will invite you to things, and I have noticed that some of my people at church, I've noticed that they will tell you that I was invited to a party and I didn't go. And I would always ask, why don't you go? And they say, oh no, it's because they have alcohol and sort of debauchery, and I just don't need that type of stress in order for me to be part of. I don't want to be seen in that type of space. And I always would respond and say, but are you not going simply because people are drinking and they're having whatever they're having, or you are not going simply because you fear that as soon as you get there, they will force things on you? And then I'll ask you, would they hold you down, open your mouth, and make you drink alcohol? And I says, no, they won't do that. In fact, they respect me. They in fact, as soon as I come, they don't even, they know that I don't do these things. In fact, they try to cater for me as much as possible. And I said, okay, since they do that, so why? And then he says, yeah, no, the other thing, I just don't want to be seen in those places. And in my not in my defense, it's just my curiosity is that, so it's because you don't want to be seen in these places, that is why you don't go. So it's more of an image, of an appearance that you have, that you don't want to be seen. So which means there are certain people you don't want to be seen with. And he says, yeah, I've got an image. At church, they know me as one thing, so I don't want to be seen as, this type of guy who goes to these type of places. And I said, okay. But then sometimes, and this was a conversation I was having with a friend. This is when the theme came up. And then I said to him, look, if you are doing things, or you're not doing things simply because you don't want to be seen or what people are going to say, then actually going to church, you shouldn't be going to church. And he says, why? I said, because when you look at the makeup of a church, of which church you go, wherever church you go, that you find that you have liars, you have cheaters, you have thieves, you have all sorts of people who are in all sorts of things, and yet you don't have a problem being seen with those people. It's just that their things are not public, and those people who do their things in public, those are the people you don't want to be seen with. And it took a while for him to get through. I said, actually, church is the worst place for you to be seen at, because if we were to play a slideshow of what you get up to when nobody's watching, actually nobody would want to be associated with you. And therefore, it brings me to this text that Jesus attended a wedding. Now, there's nothing wrong with a wedding. In fact, for me, I know it's a wedding, but I wanted to make it relevant that actually Jesus was not a type of rigid person. He was a people's person. He was a people's Messiah. He was here for the people. His very mission was for the people. So Jesus was seen wherever the people were. Wherever Jesus was, you could guarantee the people would be there. So Jesus did not mind to be seen with people, because ultimately his business, his mission was the people. And when going to a wedding, and as you know, weddings, yes, are holy, they're sacred. It's one of those institutions that predates sin. before there was sin, especially in our context, in the human earth sphere, before there was sin, a marriage, God instituted it so that it could be there, and it still is. Other things have fallen away, of course. But so in a wedding, we've all attended weddings are parties, man. There's fun, people are jolly, everybody's having a good time. Weddings, I love a wedding. In fact, anybody who invites me to a wedding, I drop whatever I'm going because I believe I'm going to be having fun. So one of the things that I have a problem, as I've mentioned, is that Christians, they're in a habit of appearances. Now, the problem with appearances is that you tend to live for the appearance instead of living your life. Because you have this appearance that you have to keep up. It's a mask. You remember during COVID, I know some countries have pulled down the masks. There's no mask mandates, but in some countries there's still a mask. Now, I remember during the mask mandate, you didn't know people. You only saw them through their eyes. And eyes, some people could study eyes and most they don't. But one thing I did discover, that there are some people I met while wearing a mask throughout. And when I took out the mask, I got to see who they were. And sometimes I was shocked. I was like, wow, I did not expect you to be, not that there's anything wrong with their appearance. It's just I had a different image of who they were. And when the mask fell off. So what I'm trying to say is that when we're going to need more wine, the first thing you need to do is appearance. Jesus, at the start of his ministry, one of the things he tried to debunk and try people not to prejudge him was that there are places he cannot be seen with. Jesus was seen at a place where there was wine. In fact, when wine ran out, Jesus was the one who brought it back. Now, I'm not here to debate whether we should be drinking or not drinking. Was that wine alcoholic or non-alcoholic? That's a debate for another day. But what I'm saying is that Jesus was in the fundamental business of people. And as a believer of Christ, your fundamental thing is to be in the business of people. If you have problems with people, you really cannot be following Christ, because Christ is in the people's business. If you only gonna exert influence at church, then perhaps you have not figured out who Christ was, because Christ was hardly seen in synagogues. He will only appear at synagogues during the Sabbath. If it wasn't the Sabbath, Jesus was seen somewhere else with the people outside. He did his miracles, most of his miracles, the first miracles, he did it at a wedding, at a party. That way he did it. So the first thing is that if we really are who we say we are and profess we say we are, the first thing of what we need to do is be for the people. Now, I'll tell you this from personal experiences. Sometimes people are not going to give you the love that you give them. But it should not stop you from loving the people. You're supposed to love the people and use things, not use people and love their things. So Jesus loved the people. And that is why he was moved. When things got sour, Jesus was the one who stepped in. So in this series, as we're going to need more wine, we are definitely going to need more wine, because there are certain things we need to talk about. And I want to talk to the Christian world that if you have an issue with certain people because they do certain things, then you will have a problem getting to know Jesus, because Jesus was not a person who looked at gender, who looked at race, who looked at social status, who looked at, some people will say, I don't like them because I just don't feel them. Jesus felt everybody. They were not people that he didn't feel. Jesus felt everybody. He was for the people. And if we are claiming to be followers of him, then we shouldn't have people that we don't feel. So join me for the next couple of days, for the next 6 days, as we're going to need more wine. We're going to be looking at this text, looking into the details, looking into how things went about, and why this miracle especially appears in the book of John, why it's so important in our lives. that we can always use it as a launching pad, whatever we're doing in society. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be worship leader in your church. You don't have to be this Bible thumping Christian. You just need to be a follower of Jesus and look at how he did things and see how you can apply it in your life, in your context, and see if it won't be applicable to you. So, join me next time, tomorrow, on day 2, when we're going to need more wine. May you have a lovely evening, lovely day wherever you are in the world, and we'll talk again soon. Cheers.